get my own place, and I decided to
Nice.
kind of take a leap of faith. Um, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. It's gonna be very challenging, but in a good way. Um,
Right.
it's gonna, diamonds grow under pressure.
That's what they say, man. That's what they
Yes,
say for
sir.
sure. Went on vacation. Actually, I was down in Arkansas. I was down there from Tuesday night all the way to yesterday, Sunday
That's what's
night.
up.
So
What's up?
yeah,
You see some
so
family?
yeah, down there with some family and everything. Doing some rekindle, So yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Had a good time. I was happy to go down there. Now it's back, get back to the money, man. Lock back
Yeah,
in.
man. It's nice to see how things have grown and everything going back, but then when you get back to it, it's back on the grind.
No, it is. It was cool, man. I was like, dang, man, like it's been a while since I've been down here, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it's like I missed it, but it's like, I see some things. I'm like, I'm kind of, you
Kind
know,
of
you
glad
know,
I ain't, yeah,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
glad I ain't stayed.
but our area, our hometown is more of a smaller area, especially
Yeah.
compared to like the DFW area.
Funny you say that. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I had a few months ago, I went to Dallas to visit my business partner, and
Mhm.
the energy there, bro, it's so different. Not only is it like a different kind of energy, but it's always going, you know. So it's like whenever, like at least what I experience here, it's a slower energy, like it's not moving as quick, and so you kind of have to generate more of your own kind of energy, more of your own self, if that makes sense, to get it to get through. I think that's a big I think that's a big thing, man. Like let's say you move somewhere and everything's
Mhm.
slower or it's faster than you're used to and you can't organize
Mhm.
everything, then something blows up because you can't organize it.
It's it reminds me of a bigger Texarkana, if I have to say, but like
Mm,
it's the pace is about the same, but it's just bigger, and so I like it, So it's like,
yeah.
okay, cool, remind me of home. It ain't too much going on because in different parts of the DFW area, it can, like you said, it can get pretty fast tempo, like from like rush hour traffic, of that sort. So it can get pretty crazy, So like
Yeah.
the area
I
I
bet.
stay in, like it's just right, just a bigger version of home, and I like it, man.
Hey
It's
man, that's what it's
everything
about.
convenient.
Finding where you fit in, man. That's what it's about.
Most definitely, I like it here for sure. It's very convenient, so I don't have to go too far, so I don't got to worry about getting that road rage. So yeah, it's working out pretty good, man. It's working out
Yeah,
pretty good.
road rage is a motherfucker,
It's
man.
man. All I'm gonna say is
Ooh.
this: everybody don't need to drive. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Everybody do not need to drive. I don't know how they got their driver's license, but it need to be revoked. It need to be revoked. That's all I'm gonna say. But
They got that shit. They got it out the McDonald's kids meal.
some dang, they should have told me about that when
Yeah.
I was trying to get my license, man, my permit. Like, dang, I would have went there and got it too.
Man, I swear.
What haven't witnessed being contentment ever in this
Oh, I
life.
see now.
And so it's natural for them not to grow because all they want and need is contentment and stability. They don't even
Yeah.
have dreams anymore, much less chase them.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So,
That actually is something that came to me in meditation. And I'd recognized that before, but you know
hmm
how like when something comes back through and then it hits you harder, and so
hmm
then it seems like more stuff connects to it and it feels deeper. So I was like, man, I want to speak on that, bro. Before before I started getting my health in order, or at least in some sort of order, trying to do something, because I mean,
hmm
there's a point in time where you don't even pay attention to your health. You worry about your image, you worry about, being cool, fitting in, you worry about, is this person gonna abandon me? Is this person
hmm
gonna, you know what I mean? You just focus on all this other stuff, right? And then, man, I guess I built up enough, what I like to call it spiritual entropy, which is, you build up enough karmic residue to where essentially you're doing a bunch of stuff, but you're not processing all of it. You just doing a bunch of stuff and then it builds up and explodes.
hmm
And I did that, bro. I had a night, bro, and I was like, I'm not doing this no more. Like, I don't know nothing about my brain, bro. Like, I'm drinking every day, not doing nothing, bro. My house is dirty all the time. Like, and they don't teach you none of that. They don't teach you how to deal with none of that in school. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't teach us that,
Nah,
man.
man, they
That's
don't. They don't. And so, I woke up the next morning motivated, bro. Like a kind of motivation that was a blessing by God, bro. Like,
heck yeah.
and I got into psychology, and that's when I started reading about human nature. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene was the book that I started on. It was a wonderful
Robert
book.
Greene, good
It's a
author,
wonderful
man.
book. A wonderful book. Yeah, he
What
is
is
a
it
great
called?
author.
The
48
50,
Laws of Power, probably.
48. I was gonna say 50, but the 48 laws. Yes, sir. That's a good one, bro. That
That's a
is a
good one
good
too. It's
one.
on my
Yeah,
bookshelf.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
but
But I'm
but
listening.
yeah, that's absolutely where I started. It's kind of crazy. But that led me to the last chapter in that book led me to it was a chapter on death. And I don't remember exactly what it said at this moment, but it's what led me into Eastern philosophy. And then I started getting into meditation and stuff then. So after I got into meditation and stuff, I started to become aware that your thoughts can only audition for your attention. That's it. They can't do anything else. Thoughts can be there, but you don't necessarily have to be the one making them, because you have your own field, but you share a field with people, and you share a field with everything. It's all in the air, you know. And so sometimes you might have a thought pass through that's not even yours. And 9 times out of 10, because we haven't realized how to disengage from the function that wants to make something out of things, we think that it's our thoughts, and it didn't really come from us. It just is there in the field. and so
Okay.
and so once I realized that, fast forward a couple years later, I started to be able to see how people were in the same position that I was in, where they couldn't like see past all of the thoughts that they perceive themselves to be creating. And so it's like, and then not only that, but the cells themselves start to, you get disease, you start, cancer, or just it starts to build in certain areas, and the areas that it builds in is based on what you feel like needs work in yourself. So if you're perceiving lack, emotionally, um, let's say you were abused or something as a child, right? When you grow up in your belly area and in your reproductive area, if all of that hasn't been cleaned up, then that's where the cancer will amalgamate at. That's where it'll grow at. Because it's like you're constantly compressing those emotions, and you're constantly repressing it in that area, but you don't even really know you're doing it.
Right.
And so that leads me into the whole contentment thing, because see, how can you grow if you have cancer? You know what I mean? You have to get rid of the cancer first. You have to have an environment that allows you to heal, and then get through that, and then everything opens up, and then you can afford to dream again, right? Because if you try to dream with something that's going to limit you, then you're not going to be able to reach your dream. There's no way, like, because your dreams are too big. They are.
Yeah. They get overwhelming.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really wanted to speak on that, because I think that's something that affects pretty much everybody, even if it's not affecting you as much now. Like, it definitely did at one point. Like, I think we've all been through that.
Most definitely. Like, I don't have a place in the world, right? So not have a reason, not don't have a cause, and or why, if you want to say. And so after me not having that and dealing with it in life, it's like I was just flowing through life. I was just flowing through life, and it's like, why? Like, why am I
kind
here?
of kind of numb,
Why
kind
would
of
I
numb,
put here?
floating.
You know what I'm saying? Just numb,
Yeah.
just flowing, just passing through the days, And when I kind of figured out, man, and kind of started like following different teachers like it's Les Brown and Ray Lewis and the people, the Ray Lewis of the world, kind of just started kind of, listening to them. I kind of
Hey, you,
started
you putting me
finding,
on. I ain't never heard of him. You putting me on.
oh, Les Brown and Ray. You know about Ray Lewis, bro?
Is
Hold
Ray
on.
Lewis the football player?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
You,
okay,
you, you
okay,
know
okay.
about him, bro.
You
Believe
said,
me, you know
yeah, yeah.
about him.
I know him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't know the other one though. I didn't know the other one though.
Les
I ain't
Brown.
even gonna lie. I quit watching football when I was younger.
Oh, Les Brown. He's not a football player, but he's a motivational and inspirational speaker too.
Okay.
Look
Okay,
him
cool.
up, bro. Les Brown. He's
Okay.
legit for sure. Legit. You'll like him. But
Heard.
but yeah, man. So Les Brown, the Ray Lewis of the world. I started like listening uh to their talks, their speeches, man, and like TED talks, and I kind of started. It started resonating with me, right?
Resonate. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so like I was like, dang man, like they Les Brown, he got a lot of good ones, but one he was talking about, like basically the hardship of life, your purpose. What is your purpose in life? And he said that you would know your purpose in life when you don't have to work for it, but it come with ease. He
Yeah.
said you know your purpose in life. He said like when people pay you for like your skill, that's your
Mhm.
purpose in life. So I'm like, man, like, okay, so what is my skill? What is my purpose in life? What can I be doing instead of wasting my lifespan? So like I was like, so I started digging. I'm like, bro, like, and I saw the podcast, stuff like that, and I like, bro, I like to debate. Always, it's always been there. I am an introvert. I'm an introvert.
Same.
I'm a
Yep.
person. I can be to myself. I don't need to be around people to be content. But when we get to talking about certain topics, I'm gonna jump in it. Like I'm gonna give my point of view about it. I'm gonna be like here, and we can go back and forth, and they can be hours and
Yeah.
hours. And I'm like, but my thing is, don't. I ask questions and don't give me on the surface answer. Like I want to know why. Don't tell
Yeah.
me like if I be like, hey Jordan, why you like to go to McDonald's? You'd be like, well, everybody like to go to McDonald's, so why not me? Nah, bro. Why do you like to go to
Why do
McDonald's?
you?
You know what I'm saying? Like you need to break it down to me so me developing a mindset. I was like, damn, like so let me use that because that's something I like to do. It's not something I'm forcing myself. So I'm like, okay, let's just create a podcast. And, but other stuff of that sort. I like to work out too, which I've been having people telling me about that. Like I have actually a good buddy of ours we went to school with. His name, if you remember, his name, Devontae Black. He
Yeah.
body lift.
Yeah.
He a bodybuilder and everything. Which
Oh
man,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got him on Facebook. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
he's doing
man.
well. He's doing well
He's
for himself.
doing good.
That's good to
He's
see.
he's a very good buddy of mine, man. And he just I know every time I talk with him every once in a while, he's inspired me. He really do, man. I told him I'm like, man, you don't even know it, but we low key been rivals since we was in high school, bro. Like for real. And I told him that, and he just started laughing. But I feel like he kind of low key know. But I'm like, bro, we rivals, bro. You just don't know, bro. You just don't know. But
Right.
he inspired me just to stay consistent in the gym and just really just stay consistent in life, because I'm like, damn, like, he goes back to, like I said, in high school when we was playing football, like, and everything. But yeah, he's a pretty big piece inspiration for me too, and other people too. But yeah, man, like
But
just working
it's
out.
nice to have somebody that you close to, bro. It's like because you
It
came from the
is
same place.
the
You
same
came from
place,
like you
like
came up from
that.
the same mud, bro.
The
Like
same mud, man. And so
yeah,
like
man.
it's I need that. I need that fire lit under me. I need somebody to hold me. I won't say he hold me accountable, but him doing what he does, his purpose, that right there is enough to hold me accountable. Like damn, like if
And,
he can do that,
and that see that is the spiritual purpose. But what you just said, that is all of our
right,
spiritual purpose, no matter what way
right,
we do it. It's to continue to light the torch, light people's
right.
torch. When God gives you the grace, you light people up.
And
What?
and
Go ahead, go
And,
ahead.
no, no, I'm not gonna say exactly, bro. And that's why nothing reason why I want to do this podcast name and this platform because
Yeah.
I want to help other people, bro. So like they don't have to waste several other early years of their life, bro, trying to find their purpose. But I know sometimes even when we feel like we found the purpose, air quotes, that sometimes what they call it midlife crisis, that you can be like, damn, like is this really something I want to do? Like one day, like you said, you wake up and you be like, bro, where am I? Like,
Where
like
am
I
I?
don't even
Yeah.
like
Like,
to do this, bro. Like, why I'm working in
yeah.
this office,
Like
I
I'm
don't
not
even
even
like
on the right
working here.
timeline, bro. Like
You know what
where
I'm
did I
saying?
step
Like,
off?
so I just want.
There's also deeper levels of purpose in the sense of understanding what your soul incarnated, like what shape your soul incarnated to follow through, like before you like came in, before you actually
Yeah,
incarnated. And that's given to us in the spark. Sometimes like our because of the way that our conditions have been developed, we may not necessarily see it like from the spiritual dimension, but you can just see it in people. You know, it's like they got the light, they got the fire, and they remembered, and it's moving through them, but they may not necessarily see aliens or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right,
They
right,
may not
right.
necessarily see it from their, you know, from behind their eye.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing to touch on, because there's a big thing in the spiritual community where um, people kind of have this idea that because you have powers, you're better, or like because you have powers, you're, you know, I don't know. And look, here's the thing. I'm not saying like don't use what you have. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am
Mhm.
saying is that what I've learned is that your powers are going to develop anyway. Period. Doesn't matter. Inevitable. Gonna have to. And
Okay,
so
when you say powers, explain. So explain to me what you mean by that.
I
Like,
mean, I could give you a bunch of different models about what they say they are. I could tell
like,
you
well, you
that.
just give me one, just one.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, ultimately, like my definition and the way that I understand it is that your powers are things that are already inherent within you that become unlocked when you follow your desire.
Mm, okay.
And so don't worry about, oh, it's clairsentience, is being able to hear spiritually. Look, don't worry about all that. Just
Hmm.
be simple. Like follow Jesus. Be simple. Like he says, be simple. Like,
Hmm.
because we get stuck in the illusion. And that's why I try to stay as simple as possible. Now, when I feel things that I have to do that may seem complicated, you have to do them. You know, like sometimes I'll explain something really deep that this other person maybe didn't even need, but really maybe I was talking to myself the whole time. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
so it's like, but then after that, it kind of resonates, and I'm like, oh, something clicks, and I'm like, oh, I did open up something. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's I wanted to touch on that real quick because there's a big thing in the spiritual community of like and I'm not saying like don't practice it sharpening specific things and powers, but don't 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 be like a gambling addict. You know, like don't be an addict to it,
Hmm.
you know, because the whole thing is you being you who you originally are is should be the will of God expressed through you. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I've seen that in the spiritual community time and time again, where you know people think that they're higher and stuff. And I used to say I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I'm not saying this from no experience. You know, I did the same thing, and in some ways, I still catch the egocentrism doing it still, and then I shut that shit off as soon as I find out this is what it's doing.
Yeah.
You know, it really is about being as humble as possible. You know,
Hmm.
but again, you can't try to be humble either. It's the most it's the most uh it's the most I want to use a better word, but difficult thing to kind of like get, because you're unifying two polarities. You're trying to say all the evil in the world came from the same spot as all the good in the world, and that's what you're saying. And so people are going to respond to that differently. You're going to get haters.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you got to make sure that you always unified in your heart through whatever it is you do. So if you do something, don't feel split about it. You know, even if it's something bad, feel whole doing it. So that way you actually learn your lesson other than just doing shit half ass. Because if you do shit half ass, then afterwards you could be like, oh, well, it was probably some other variable. But if you your whole self, it can't be another variable. It's only you. So
Hmm.
then that's what really makes you change, is you doing it with your whole heart.
I like that, man. So like, just trying to find that balance in life, right? Like, I guess that yin and yang, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
you you hit a good point when you said like when you feel like good and evil. You didn't say you feel, but you said good and evil comes from the same place, which I believe so too. You know, because how we know what's good without how will you know what something is good without evil? How do you know something is evil without good?
Yeah,
You know, how would
because you
we
have it.
know?
It's a scale. You have to have a comparison, right?
Right. So that that being said, like, but you saying like you should push your full no matter what it is, even if you in your spirit you know it's wrong, still do it, push your full 100%. uh, effort within that. So if when the consequences happen, you know that, hey, like I knew that was wrong. I did it 100%. You know, put the effort into it. Like, or vice
It
versa.
couldn't have
If
been
it's something
nobody
good,
else. Couldn't have
nobody
been
else. So
nobody else.
nobody else influenced me to do this, right?
Right.
Because I feel like people, and I can say me too in the past, and I feel like, because I'm, you know, I probably still do it sometimes because I'm only human. So I feel like sometimes we can let outside sources influence us to make certain decisions, or to, when it comes to our actions. And I feel like social media is a probably, I feel like, in my opinion, it's the number one cause when it comes to
Oh yeah.
influence, negativity more than anything. I feel like it's more negative influence than positive influence, which is crazy. And but so I feel like that being said, you know, like, it's just, you know, don't try to, you know, look back and say, well, I seen Jordan doing it, so, you know, I'm this is the reason why I made this decision to do this. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, if you're gonna do it, just do it, as you said, full heartedly, and go from there. So when it does, the consequences happen, you know, like, okay, well, this is something Jay, not Jordan, need to work on, but this is something Jay needs to work on, you know, and fix that the root cause, and go from there to move on. But
Right.
um but yeah, man, that's interesting, bro. That's very interesting. That yin and yang, that balance in life, man.
Say is everything on the outside is a reflection of what's already going on the inside.
Mm,
So collectively, like we see all this war and stuff, that's going on the inside of us. You know, you can feel clean, like your biofield. You can feel clean and you can feel, stuff like that. But you're also still connected with the rest of the world, right? So this goes back into, like, how they say all you can do is work on yourself.
mm,
It's like that. It's like, if you sometimes the only way you can help the bigger stuff that seems impossible to fix
mm,
is literally just raise your own consciousness, because if you raise your consciousness, then you raise the collective consciousness.
mm,
And the other thing that I wanted to say too was that I don't think I don't think everybody wants war, but also I don't think everybody wants peace. I feel like everyone wants harmony. And the thing is like,
mm,
you can't have harmony unless you know peace first. Because
mm,
how are you going to know what note you are in the scale if you can't be quiet? If you not if you not clear, you know? So it's like,
mm.
if we're going to have war, if we see war, it's because we're trying to become clear with ourselves. And so, I mean, you could look at it as a body system. You know what I'm saying? You have billions and trillions of cells. Some of them are counteractive, and what has to happen to those cells that are either dead or counteractive to the process, they have to be cleaned out. So,
Mhm.
but now the reason why war is happening though is because people are confused with what the soul is. And so, because there are those that haven't remembered the essence of the soul, it requires those who have remembered the soul to be in the same play or drama.
Mm,
So that's how we always end up getting the good and the bad, right? You have the master martial artist that taught the young martial artists, and he grew up and now he's on the dark side, and now it's good versus evil, and you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And so it's like,
mhm.
and that's it's like a whole thing. But yeah, it really is. And now obviously that's easier to say whenever, like you said, you at home without bombs going off over your head,
Right,
you know.
right.
It's different experientially. Um, but that's it's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the game. You got to look at Earth as a body. You got to look at every individual person as a cell in the body. Every animal, the water is like the blood. You know what I mean? It's like the blood of the earth.
Mm,
Um, you just you got to start seeing things as connected with things that you can resonate with, and that you can make whole sense of, instead of making divisive sense of, which is the world of this or that instead of this and that. See, we were trying to get to the world of this and that.
And see, you say that, so like, because I love how you use that metaphor. So like, so are we here as the cells? As you said, the world is the body, and we're the cells. So how will we know who to heal and who to kill to remove from their body from creating cancer to the world.
Exactly. So in the body, the only way that you would know is if it is through invisible impulse, essentially.
Mm.
So I say invisible impulse, but when you get to a level of extrasensory perception, which means consistently being able to perceive beyond the five senses,
Mm.
then it becomes visible, right? But just like in different seasons, you have different impulses of feelings arise. So like
Mm.
during the autumn, I feel much more emotional, and I feel, it's just it's a different quality of energy that is being implemented by the creator or by God or by source. It's energy is what it is. And I mean it's more than that, but we're just putting words to it. But
Right.
however, we decide how, like, our response to that energy shapes the way that our future plays out as far as the physical, the material play, the drama, right? So God isn't necessarily punishing anyone. He's actually giving freely of himself constantly, but
Mm.
we actually respond, and because he has to know how we're going to respond to something to know how to, you know what I mean? Um,
How to correct it? Is that what you're saying? Or
yes. If because there's okay, so there's God, which is the infinite, unfathomable, right? So
mm-hmm.
and then it always gives freely of itself. It's this pure, infinite, like there's not even any awareness of like it just literally is, right? And
Mm.
so the first thing that becomes aware that it is one with God is essentially like what you would know as Christ. That makes any sense. It's the original essential principle of the entire universe. It's the law of love written on the heart. It's the one law, the literal one law. You don't have to follow the 10 commandments if your heart is where it needs to be, because it knows the law.
Mm.
So once now we've got that understood, there's also from that Christ. Think of it like I listened to a podcast last week, and this was a good analogy, so I'm going to use it. Think of it like an octopus, right? So you have like the head